Hey guys, how's it going? Remington here, and I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be looking at 3 different Blender add-ons that if you don't have enabled, you should really enable them, like right now. Seriously. So as you can see, I finally updated to Blender 2.77a, and so I'm still experimenting with some of the features, but let's go ahead and look at some of the add-ons that are included in Blender. I think this goes all the way back to 2.6. I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm just going to keep this default scene that we have right here for a second, but we're going to change it shortly here. So the first one is called Dynamic Spacebar. Now typically if I press space, it comes up with this little long list of things, and if I move my mouse, it kind of screws everything up. But of course you can search things like play animation. Voila, we can play the animation. Basically what Dynamic Search Bar does is it adds categories to that entire list. So if I come up here to File and go to User Preferences, come over to Add-ons, and up here I'm just going to type in Spacebar, and you can see we have Dynamic Spacebar menu, and it's currently disabled, so I'm going to go ahead and enable it. And I'm going to save user settings because I want this to stay on constantly. And if you click Save User Settings, that means every time you open up Blender, it will be there. If you do not click Save User Settings, that means it's just for this time. So now you notice if I press space, we get a whole different menu. We have the Add Object menu, which is the same thing as pressing Shift A, Transform menu with all the different transform options, the Mirror menu, Snap Cursor menu, Parent menu, Group menu, all sorts of different menus, including being able to open the tool shelf and the Properties menu and changing into Edit mode. All sorts of really great things right from here. And say that you still didn't know, or you still don't know what category it is. Let's just search up play. Oh, sorry, if you press space again, it looks like you have to press space twice. So we press space and then we press space again. Okay, apparently that's not gonna work. So we're gonna have to click it again. And from here you can just load up the same old menu that you can search from. And it's really that simple, and it makes it, even though it's not that big of a change, it has a lot more functionality to the spacebar menu. And I found it extremely useful over the past few months of using it. So I'm going to switch over to cycles here for our next add-on, and this one is called the Node Wrangler. So of course whenever we're creating material here, I'll just create a basic diffuse material, and I'll go ahead and open up the node editor down here, or up here actually, put it up top. Actually we don't even need the 3D view. But we have our typical little menu here, and so this is our typical menu. We just have these things. We can add a node. So if I wanted to add a glossy here, we could add that and swap that. If we wanted to mix them together, we'd add a mix shader and connect them just like that. But if we enable Node Wrangler, so I'm going to come up to my user preferences here, Node Wrangler, and click this little checkbox right here. And I'm going to keep this on every time once again, so I'll save user settings. Now if we delete these, so for example if we wanted to connect this diffuse to the material output, we can hold Alt and right click and connect the two. Oops, actually sorry, Alt and left click. Oh wait, what is it? Control and right click, I'm sorry. I get that mixed up a lot. So Control and right click will connect two nodes. So you'll notice that it connected automatically the BSDF to the surface of the material output. Now if we did the same with this, you can see it connects it to the volume because the surface is already taken. Now if we hold Shift and do it, you'll notice we get a bunch of different options. We can send it to the surface, volume, or displacement. So if I wanted to replace it, I could send it to surface. And now you can see it's connected to both surface and volume. If I wanted to replace it again, I could hold Control, Shift, actually Control Shift, and then right click. And then you see I get this menu again and connect it to surface. Now let's say I wanted to add a RGB. We can just Control right click and import it to the color, or if I wanted to import to the roughness, we could just Control Shift and then right click, and then you can see roughness just like that. And we can just build textures and different materials based upon that. And it's a really useful feature. Now you kind of saw this earlier, but say I wanted to mix diffuse and a glossy shader. What we can do is we can hold Alt and right click between the two, and you'll notice it's green. And it mixes them just like that. It just connects them to a mix shader automatically, and then we can hold Control and right click to connect it to the surface, and voila, we have a mix shader just as easy as that. And it's so much easier than having to press Shift A, searching through the menu, shader, mix shader. And there are other things you can do with this too. I'll link the entire documentation for this plugin down below. But if we, for example, select 2 here, just like this, so we press Control plus, it adds an add shader. If we press Control minus, well, that's supposed to, actually here, let's see, Control minus, no. I'm not sure why that's not working. It's supposed to, but, you know, not everything works, I guess. But there's all sorts of other things, including like mixed nodes. Actually, no, I already went over that. Z combine modes, alpha over nodes, and here we'll do this too. This is a really nice thing. If we add in a transparent, and we select all 3. Oops. Come on. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna end up doing that. Just like that, and we press Control plus, you can see it automatically combines them into a series, just like that. And it's a really neat feature. I'm not really sure how the order works, but I believe if if we just hold Alt and right click between these two, and then we can mix these two just like that as well. It's a little bit harder doing mixed shaders, but add shaders, you just select all 3, and then just press Control plus, and voila, you have an automatic add shader built. And it outputs perfectly to the cube here, even though it's kind of hard to tell since there is nothing behind it. But that's the Node Wrangler. It's a really useful thing. There's all sorts of different other things in the documentation that I actually haven't experimented with. So, why is my computer loading? That's not good. All right, there we go. So let's go ahead and move on to number 3, which is images to planes. Now, this is another really useful one, basically because typically when you import a plane, so I'm going to delete my object here. When you import an image, you have to map it onto a plane, and then you have to get the scaling correct, and it's just a pain in the butt to do. So we'll just do this. We'll come to User Preferences, search for images as planes, and you can see I just typed in images. I'll enable it, and I'm going to save user settings because I want this to stay on. Shift A, and under the mesh menu, down at the very bottom, we have images as planes. And if we click it, looks like Blender's going to freeze up a little bit here. Must be a new bug with 2.77a. Alright, there we go. Now, all we have to do is just select any random thing here, and you can see there's import images too here. We can use a couple different settings. It looks like it's still actually frozen. Yeah, it's still frozen, but yeah, as you can see here, we have you can look for certain image formats, you can align the planes, you can add an offset to it, which is really cool. Looks like you can also set the movie length to see how long you want it to be selected. Let's see here. And you can see you can also use the alpha just right from it. Okay, here we go. Is it gonna work? Nope, still loading. Gotta love new builds of Blender, don't ya? There we go, it loaded, finally. It was only like 12 minutes. That took way longer than it should have. Anyway, as you can see here, we have a couple different options. We have, let's see if I can pull this up. Oh no, it's frozen again. Ah! Time to solve a Rubik's Cube again. There we go. Oh man, it beat me. All right. Well, as you can see here, we have a couple different options. We can match the movie length, use the alpha of an image that already exists. We can set the material, so if I wanted it to be an emission material, I could do that, or a diffuse material. And we can also set the plane dimensions to, looks like absolute is just supposed to, oh, here we go. So, yeah, use the absolute size of the image. This one looks like it uses the dots per inch, yep, DPI, and then dots per Blender unit. So there's a couple different things that you can use. I'm just going to go ahead and import this material packs.png, and you can see it imports a plane, and if we switch into material mode here, voila, we can see it actually doesn't look like it's fit correctly. We might have to remap that a little bit. I'm not sure why it did that. Previously it mapped it pretty evenly, but it might just be another bug with 2.77. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something new from this tutorial, and if you'd like to see more of these Blender add-on videos, be sure to drop a like and leave a comment. Also, if you'd like to see me do a tutorial on anything, leave a comment, and there is a 98.97432 chance that I will make a tutorial on that subject. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Adios.